Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for hating my wife's creepy hobby project? For context, we're both in our later 30s and live in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood where we all know each other. My wife has always loved trashy movies and shows about infidelities, and she eats up true crime about spouses killing their cheating partners too. She just says something about it makes her morbidly fascinated, in her words. Well, a couple months back we had a scandal in our neighborhood where a married couple in the neighborhood divorced because the husband cheated. No, there wasn't a murder or anything like that, but she became obsessed with learning every detail from every neighbor. No matter the occasion, be it a baby shower or cookout, she would bring it up hoping there would be any new information. A month later is when I stumbled on the board in her home office. I was doing some cleaning and I found a massive bulletin board facing away leaned up against the wall. Curiosity got the better of mine and I turned it around to find a literal fucking conspiracy board of all our neighbors' pictures with lines of yarn connecting each other like the fucking Pepe Sylvia meme. I was totally confused and asked what this was, and she told me it was a hobby she had started recently where she would track rumors or likely candidates for cheating on the board. The yarn represented who was possibly cheating with whom. She had clearly gotten all the images on Facebook or some social media and printed them out and even had a few sticky notes with details. I told her this was creepy and insane, and she said maybe if I was doing it as a man, but she is just having harmless fun as a hobby and she wouldn't be crazy and try to oust anyone based on rumors. She just likes feeling like a detective. She told me to view it like a creative art piece. I was still super weirded out but let it go, or tried. I thought about it a lot. Well, every now and then I admit to checking the board when cleaning, but just a couple days ago I looked to see that now I was on the board with a yarn attached to a neighbor's wife I am casual friends with. I asked her why she would add me if she thought I was cheating, and she said that was a different yarn color for potential matches for cheating. She said if it makes me feel better she was planning on adding herself to the board soon. Well, I got pissed and kind of lost my temper about it. I told her to get rid of the board or our marriage will be in trouble. Things have been super rocky since. I am starting to feel bad and it hit me more than usual this morning. Should I apologize to her? And before you ask, no, I don't suspect her of cheating. Honestly, I wish she was, because it would at least make more sense than this. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for refusing to subsidize my wife and kids anymore? All three of them are adults with full-time jobs. None of them have contributed financially to our household budget. My wife went back to work full-time when our youngest was 7. He is currently 24. Our oldest is 27. The kids have no student debt. Our retirement property is overseas, and that's where I am currently. 2 months ago, I finally had enough. I came home from an out-of-town work trip and none of the food I request be in the house is there. And it isn't caviar and lobster or anything. It's a loaf of sourdough, some deli meat and cheese, and some condiments. Enough so I can make a sandwich before I go grocery shopping. Apparently that was too difficult for 3 adults to manage. My wife and I had an argument about it and the kids took her side. I reminded them that they were supposed to be contributing to the budget, and then all 3 of them started whining about life being expensive. No shit. I'm working to support all 4 of us. Whatever. I made plans to go to our property on my next rotation. So after my time off I went back to work. Then when I flew home I just stayed at the airport overnight and flew out in the morning. I also didn't deposit money into the budget account. So they are paying for everything. The house, my truck, and my wife's car are all fully paid off. So they are paying for their own utilities, property taxes, food, and bills. and they are all furious that I'm not giving them money. I'm good here. When I go back to work, I will do the same thing. Just stay overnight at the hotel and fly to work. My company even flew me to a more convenient city for me to fly out from. I think that 3 adults with full-time jobs and a free place to live should do fine. I probably missed a bunch of information, but I'm drunk and you can ask questions. If they aren't stupid, I will answer. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after she publicly called me irresponsible in front of our whole family? I, 26F, am the younger sister to Emma, 34F, who has 3 kids, 7, 4, and 2. Emma has been a single mom for the past few years, and while I respect her hard work, I feel like I've been roped into this unofficial secondary parent role without my consent. Even though I love it at times, it is stressful. Over the past year, she's come to rely on me as her primary babysitter. She'll often ask me to watch the kids at the last minute because she needs a break or wants to run errands without the stress. I've canceled my plans more times than I can count to help her out, and I did it because I wanted to, because she is my sister. But last weekend, I finally had something I was looking forward to, a close friend's birthday dinner. I'd been helping her plan it for weeks, and we were supposed to have this amazing girls' night at a fancy restaurant, followed by karaoke, something I never get to do with how much I'm helping my sister. On the day of the party, Emma texted me in the afternoon, asking if I could watch the kids for a few hours so she could recharge. I told her I couldn't because of my plans, and I expected her to respect that, which she seemingly did. I assumed she found someone else or worked it out in the end. Then, fast forward to the next evening at a family dinner. Out of nowhere, Emma goes off on me in front of everyone, saying I'm irresponsible, self-centered, and that I have no idea what it's like to be a real adult since I don't have kids of my own. She even went on about how she sacrifices everything for her kids while I party around like a teenager. I was mortified and honestly heartbroken. This was in front of our parents, aunts, uncles, everyone. After dinner, I told her that I was done babysitting until she could apologize and start treating me with respect. She's been furious, saying I'm abandoning her and that family should be there no matter what. It made me feel really bad, and I felt as if I did abandon her as sister with this demand. My mom, of course, took her side, saying I should let it go because Emma is stressed and just needs my support as she is a single mom and yada yada. I get that being a single mom is tough, and I am her sister and she helped me out a lot too, but on the other side I feel like I'm being guilt-tripped and treated like her backup parent and not even a babysitter that can have other plans. Am I the bad person for saying enough is enough and setting this boundary? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section, and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for immediately donating the gifts my stepmother bought for my children? I, 34F, have no contact with my stepmother Mary. Long story not worth explaining, edit, I loosely explained in a comment. It's been 5 years since I cut her off from my and my family's lives. As such, she hasn't seen my son, 8M, since he was 3 years old, and she's never met my daughter, 4F. Throughout the years, she has attempted to contact me and my kids several times. My father used to help her sometimes. He'd tell me how awful she felt, how much she wanted to meet my daughter, and that the kids needed their grandma. I've never considered her a grandparent, as both my mother and mother-in-law are active in their lives. Several fights later, my father apologized and stopped assisting her, but Mary still tries to get in touch with me every now and then. I always state I have no interest in seeing her or allowing her to be a part of my children's lives. My son's birthday was in September. The day of, neither of my kids were home. A large box was delivered to our building. I opened it to find more than a dozen new toys for my children, along with a note that read, "Grandma Mary loves you both." As I later found out, she had bought the toys on a recent trip to the US. I couldn't think of that as anything besides a manipulation tactic. My children are barely aware that she exists. Why would she send them both a box full of toys on my son's birthday? I also think she planned the delivery for a time she thought the kids would be home so that they'd see the toys immediately. Either way, my husband and I decided not to keep any of the toys. We donated them all throughout October. The kids never saw any of them. Last week, my father called me. He said Mary had just told him about the toys and wanted to know whether the kids liked them. I told him the truth, and we had an argument. My father called me cruel and ungrateful for what I did. He said he understands Mary and I don't get along, but she still cared enough to spend hundreds of dollars on a loving gesture for my children, and the least I could have done was let them know about it. I honestly couldn't imagine keeping those toys, but I'd be lying if I said the amount of money spent on them didn't make me feel guilty. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.